What it do? Listen, this episode ain't about science versus religion. We about to dive into neuroscience and the scripture, and I got my good friend Dr. Larry Ford with me from Hands to Guide You.
Yeah.
What it do, baby? How you doing, man?
What's going on early in the morning? I had to get after it this morning, man, but I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Technical difficulties couldn't hold us down too long. Let's go, man. Let's get started.
Man, let's go. Let's get it in. So listen,
Let's
good
get
people.
started.
Hey, let's get started. Listen, this episode, if you ever wondered what renewing of the mind really meant in today's language in 2026, we about to break it down for you. What my man Paul was really talking about and how you can really transform your life in 2026 and beyond. So look, let's just get into it. It's been too much technical difficulty. Me and Dr. Ford been brewing on this message for a long time right now.
Long time.
Yeah. So the first thing, man, I just want to kind of just touch on, we've been doing a series, subconscious programming series. So go check that out. We got 3 parts up. The last part, me and Dr. Ford give you practical tools to calm your nervous system in real time. So go check that out. So we just want to dive right in. I'm gonna set it up right now. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? We finna dive right into this thing. What was Paul really talking about when he was talking about transform your mind? So what I want to do, I want to set it up, throw my man Dr. Ford the oop, so he can go on and put it on you today, this morning, baby. So I just want to start with the scripture. I just want to start with Romans 12:2. And I just want to touch on 3 words real quick. Touch on 3 words real quick, and then I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Ford so he can put that into today's language. So when Paul was talking about be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, the first word I want to touch on, good people, is transform, right? What does that word transform really mean in the Greek in Paul's day? So it's a Greek word that comes from metamorpho, right? Which is our word that means metamorphosis, right? So it's a word that really means to completely change forms, right? To become unrecognizable, right? So basically, this is not moral behavior changes, right? Sometimes people get change and transformation mixed up. And Dr. Ford is going to touch on this a little bit more, but transformation is turned into something completely different. The original word that Paul is using here, think of metamorphosis. Think of caterpillar to butterfly. Completely different change, right? Completely different transformation. So what Paul is really saying in this opening word is to become something completely different, right? I wrote down in my notes, the metaphor is, like I said, the caterpillar to the butterfly, right? Changing it to something completely different. If you didn't notice the metamorphosis that the caterpillar went to get to the butterfly, you wouldn't even know that the butterfly was a caterpillar. Why? Because it completely changed. It completely changed. So that's the first thing. Side note, I want you to hit on. I'm setting this up for Dr. Ford for y'all so he can put this in today's turn. To say, hey, be ready. What I used to tell you, be ready. Shoot that. Yeah. So the second word I want to break down is renew. So how did Paul tell them to be transformed? It's by renewing. That word renew, it really is a word in the Greek. It means ananasis and ananosis. I might be pronouncing it wrong. You can fact check me, but it really means to remodel, right? I wrote down here to renovate, to make new again. So when Paul is talking about transforming, turning into something completely different, the way you do that is by remodeling your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, right? Your nervous system. So he's telling them to be transformed by remodeling. The actual word, think of remodel as a house, right? Think of the word remodel like a house, huh? Yeah, somebody just chimed in. I said, yeah, come on in. It's a Q&A. Drop your questions at the bottom, too. We're going to get to them. So think about remodeling a house, right? When you remodel a house, you tear it down, not for the sake of tearing it down and leaving it vacant, but you tear it down to build it back up, something bigger and better. So that word renew means to tear down, to build up. So what is he talking about? Tearing down old beliefs, old thought processes, right? Right? Tearing down old values and things that don't serve you no more in 2025, 2026 going forward, right? So you have to tear down to build up. And then the last word is mind, right? You got to understand what Paul is saying when he says mind, right? And I'll have to hand this over to my good friend, Dr. Ford. When he talks about the mind, you got to understand in those days, the word mind, the Greek word for that is the totality of the man. It's the seat of all emotions, right? So I wrote down here in my notes, it's the intellect, your perception, emotional regulation, decision making. It's your will, your desire, your inner orientation. What are you saying to yourself? It's how you interpret reality. It's your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, nervous system, identity patterns, right? That's what Paul is talking about. In those days, the mind was the totality of the man. He's talking about everything. So listen,
And
I'm gonna
really, it
show you
still
this
is.
scripture.
We just don't acknowledge it and we just don't acknowledge it and recognize it. It's still the man. It's still the mind.
See, see,
Mind
see,
starts all
see.
beginnings.
See, and Dr. Ford about to slam dunk this thing now because I'm finna hand it off to him on this last thing. I'm finna put this scripture in modern language. So if Paul was writing in modern language today, this is how this scripture will read. Become entirely different version of yourself by rewiring your internal system that shapes how you think, speak, feel, behave, and experience life, right? So now Dr. Ford is fit to put this in clinical terms, brain development, right? Neurogenesis, right? Forming new pathways in the brain so you can really understand what Be Transformed really looks like in 2026 for you and beyond. So here we go. Hey, here it is, Dr. Ford. Hey, shoot that. Hey, I'm giving it to you. Yeah. So listen, as we bridge this, so Dr. Ford just kind of touch on what I just said, but put that in clinical terms,
Well,
like we talked about.
renewing of the minds clinically simply means being deliberate, being sustained, of changing maladaptive cognitive patterns. So I just said in a fancy way, be intentional, be deliberate, and be mindful of patterns and behaviors that no longer work for you. So to do that, you have to have the ability to be self-aware. One must be self-aware. We as human beings are only as good as the amount of self-development and self-awareness that we have about ourselves, not about you, not about our family, not about our friends, but as us as individuals. We're only as good as the ability that we have to be self-aware. Because if we're not self-aware of what's going on to us, let alone what's happening around us, then we're going to be limited on what we can do. And then when we talk about the mind, anytime clinically, me as a behavioral health doc, I talk about the mind. I'm really talking about three things: automatic thoughts, core beliefs, and cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortions are things that aren't no longer working for me in my life. So automatic thoughts, core beliefs, and cognitive distortions. You say core beliefs. People have a misbelief on what core beliefs really are. And people think that core beliefs don't change. Your core beliefs should never remain the same. Your core beliefs should change as you change. Because there was a point in time where I believed in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and cartoons and
Yes.
Freddy Krueger and all kind of things. But as I got older and developed, had more development, brain development, I understood that those are movies, those are shows, those are cartoons. Those are really real. So did I keep the same beliefs or did I change them? And then when we talk about core beliefs, let's go a little bit deeper. What was brought to us and was trained by us and what was influenced by us by the environment that we was raised in. Because those, all my students, all my clinicians, they know one of the things that I say, Dr. Ford is known for saying, is the brain develops in the environment that it was exposed to. So there's some exposure that help develop those core beliefs. But when the environment changes, it's important for you to acknowledge, recognize, and understand what your core beliefs are, and for you to understand, should you still be believing those things, and are those beliefs helping you in your current situation today? Because we were raised by parents who were raised by our grandparents, who were raised by our great grandparents. Their core beliefs, there's a great probability that their core beliefs from 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years ago are no longer the same core beliefs that are healthy. I didn't say they aren't relevant. I said that are healthy for us in 2025. So we have to talk about this, and this is something that I actually wrote down, and this is something that we talked about earlier when we were getting ready. And the example I give, because a lot of times, remember, you say it, you hear it, and you store it in your brain. If you if I immediately change what I say, I immediately change what I store in my brain. So what does that mean? Potential. Do you want high potential or do you want low potential? Well, I want high potential, especially in what I say. So if I want high potential in what I say, then I have to change what I say. And here's the difference from saying I am broken, I'm not good enough, to I have been wounded, but I'm capable of healing.
Did y'all hear that? That's a mantra. Repeat that again for the people in the back. The difference
I am
between
broken, I cannot change, to I have been wounded and I'm capable of healing. The second one, nothing will change. This is my life. To change requires effort, repetition, and support.
I like
So
that.
if I'm telling myself that, because there's a point in time in your day, the most time we spend with ourselves is with ourselves.
Yeah.
So the main person that I talk to on a daily basis is myself. So it boils down to, what am I really telling myself? Not when friends and company are over or when I'm having a good time, but when I'm alone.
Come on. See, listen. And what Dr. Ford is talking
LL,
about.
you reminded me of a song. LL, back in the day when I'm alone in the room. What'd he say? I hear my conscience call. When I'm alone in the room, I hear my conscience call. What is your conscience telling you?
Come on,
You're
man.
your
Listen
own
to what
conscience.
he's saying.
So if you change what you say, you change what you store. So when your conscience calls, do you want to remember, I'm broken, I'm not possible, it's not possible for me to change? Or do you want to recall, I've been wounded and I'm capable of healing? The decision is yours.
Man, listen to what and this is what my man Paul is talking about, transforming your mind. He's talking about your thoughts. What are you talking about to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? You got to understand, when Paul wrote this letter to the church, to the Roman church, they was under heavy persecution. Like I said, this ain't no Bible study or lecture. I studied the book for over 20 years. I'm trying to put it in layman terms for you, what Dr. Ford is saying. So be ye transformed. He was telling them exactly what Dr. Ford is saying. You can't worry about your hostile environment. Right now, you can't control your environment. Control it. Ford is just telling you, control your thoughts pattern, control what you're telling yourself. So Dr. Ford, talk a little bit more about how the first 7 years, how we talked about in that series, how the first 7 years really get stored into that nervous system or into your consciousness. And unless you become fully aware of that, then you just repeat
your brain
cycles.
Develops in the environment that it's exposed to. So that first 7 years are extremely important. The first 3 years, more importantly, because that's where nurturing and bonding takes place. That's where healthy attachments take place, secure attachments, avoiding attachments, healthy attachments. That's where trust and mistrust is developed, and really we're a basis on how those first 7 years of life are developed in our minds, and we have to be mindful of that. And you talked about something else earlier, a second ago, that I wanted to touch on when you were talking about things that's in your control. Man, I talk to so many people every day that are constantly focused on things that are out of your control. I mean, I can be mad and upset that it's raining outside, but at the end of the day, how much time and how long do I want to spend on focusing on something that I know that's not in my control? What I want to do, what I prefer to do is focus what's in my control. Do I have a coat? Do I have a jacket? Am I prepared to stay warm in the wet weather? Like, what can I do? And then I always say, look down, you see your feet. I want to be present when my feet are. If my feet are here in this building, in my clinic right now, in this room, then I need to focus on what's around me and not later on today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, not 2 weeks from now. Man, let's be present in the moment. And we have to be better as human beings about knowing what's in our control, knowing what's not in our control, and being present and being focused on what's in our control.
Man, that's so true. Listen. That's something I tell my one-on-one community as well. When I do my one-on-one coaching sessions, I always say control
The
your
controllables.
controllables. That's it.
Yeah,
Control your controllables. If you can't control it, you got to find a way to make peace with it. Because like
yeah,
Dr. Ford said, it's out of your control. How much time do you really want to spend using your thoughts and your energy thinking about something that you can't control? This is why I tell my one-on-one community as well that the past is the past. You can't change it, you can't alter it, you can't fix it, right? You gotta find a way to make peace with it. But what you can do is change something today and moving forward, right? But the past is the past. So just talk about a little bit. I wrote down in my notes. Just talk a little bit about neurogenesis, how the brain continues to change well into your 80s, right? So when Paul is talking about renewing the mind, he's not talking about a one-time thing. He's talking about continuously. So kind of talk about that a little bit about neurogenesis, about how
yeah.
that happens.
So neurogenesis is the constant renewing of the mind. The brain continues to develop new cells all the way. Studies and research has shown all the way up to past 70 years. Every day, your brain is developing new cells in the brain to develop new pathways and new patterns and new behaviors. So neurogenesis is all about that. But this is the thing about neurogenesis. If you continue to do the same things, you continue to develop new cells and new patterns in your brain of things that don't work. So
Man,
what
hey, stay
Paul is
right there. Hey,
talking
hold
about.
on, wait. Stay right there. Stay right there. Talk about that right there. Talk about the highways coming to a
Yeah,
dead end.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Stay
yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. So, and this is another example that I give for the people that know me in the community. So, like here in the state of Oklahoma, we have highways, right? Interstates, highways, I-35, I-44, I-240, I-40, and when we have to get to longer distances, we travel on these highways, right? And our brain does the same thing because our brain loves to be on autopilot. The more our brain can be on autopilot, the more time we have to think about other things. So it's called
Mhm.
automatic thoughts. We do things automatically without thinking about it, like your routine when you wake up in the morning or your routine when you go to bed. Like that, you do it and you don't even think about it. But see, every day you're developing. So what you're doing is you're resurfacing those highways and
Mhm.
you're making a path smooth to travel on. But you have to
Mhm.
understand and you have to recognize, even though these highways are here, is this my best path? Is this my best path? Do I need to create a new path? And
Mhm.
then your brain says, unconscious mind, your brain says, man, it's so much easier if we get on 240 though. I,
Mhm.
I know it's gonna be jam packed. I know it's gonna be plenty of car accidents. I know this, but we're familiar with it, and I don't have to think. I can think about something else while you driving, and I know it's not the smoothest path, and I know every time we go down this road, something bad happens, but we're comfortable. We're happy.
That's it.
We're happy. We're
That's
okay.
it.
But
That's
no, you
it.
have to say no. I'm gonna shut that road down. But this is key. This is the key to close a highway. You know how much time and how long it takes to develop and build a new interstate or a new highway?
Mm.
And I'm talking about in the state. But
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
You have more pathways and more miles in your brain than you do on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So that's gonna
So
take
that
some
takes
time.
time. So that takes time. But you have to be willing to be comfortable in the uncomfortable moments while you're building and developing those new pathways in the mind. And you have to tell yourself, I'm doing this because I know I'm worthy. I know I can change. I know there's an end to the beginning. You have to do that. You can't tell yourself, you can't be negative about the situation. Even me, with nearly 30 years of practice, and I don't want to do anything that's bad. On my best days, I have my best thoughts. On my worst days, I have my worst thoughts.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Listen to what he said. So, I mean, that's so true. When I have my best days, my thoughts are in alignment with my best self. Like he said, when I'm having my worst days, my thoughts are in alignment with my worst self. I'm overthinking, right? I'm always being critical of myself on my
Scared to
worst
shoot the shot.
days.
Scared to shoot the shot. No.
Scared, what you say? Scared to shoot it. Freezing up. Shoot the ball, boy. Shoot it. Yeah. So, man, like he's saying, thoughts, man. Thoughts that fire together, good people, they wire together. Thoughts that fire together, wire together. So, like he just said, if you keep thinking the same thoughts about yourself, you keep telling yourself the same story. I often tell my one-on-one community in my community, break up with the lies that you tell yourself and marry the truth. I'm gonna say that again. Break up with the lies that you tell yourself and get married to the truth.
Without the emotion that's attached to it.
There,
because to do that, you have to remove the emotion that's attached to it. And the emotion comes from you.
There it is.
There's a
There it
lot of
is.
times where we include emotions and things that have absolutely nothing to do with emotions. We can be extremely emotional vessels, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But there's also times in life where we include and add emotions in situations and things where there's absolutely no emotion to deal with. Now, if I was talking about the love that I have for my family, the love that I have for my kids, the love that I have for many different individuals and people in life, that's okay. But if I'm talking about execution that has to be executed today and things that have to be done, there's no room for emotion in there.
Man, that's true. That's so true. You got to take the emotion out. So, like he's talking about, so I wrote down here, renewing the mind equal rewiring patterns, right? That's taking the emotion out. Renewing the mind equals rewiring patterns, thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, identity, experiences, right? So, talk about a little bit how if you think the same thoughts, right, you speak the same words. When you speak the same words, you feel the same way. When you feel the same way, you make the same choices and decisions. When you make those same choices and decisions, you experience the same things in life. And guess what happens? That gets on repeat mode. So talk a little bit about that, how like when you're constantly making the same or thinking the same thoughts, saying the same things about yourself, that keeps you in that loop. And in order to break that loop, what does the community have to do? If somebody's on here right now and they're constantly in that loop of that same cycle of negative thinking, negative talking about themselves, seeing themselves unworthy, what do they have to do to break that to break that loop? What would you tell them right now how to break that loop?
You have to become more self-aware, and I won't get too deep into this, but I will tell you because it's important for you to know that's a trauma-informed perspective. That's when we're hyper vigilant. That's where we have a negative self-concept. That's where we perceive we have a persistent threat perception, shame-based identity. Um, we're just in a negative thought pattern, right? And in terms of what's happening, there's a wonderful book out. If anybody's listening, um, anybody is a reader like me. There's a wonderful book that's called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's about trauma, and it's about I don't trauma is such a negative connotation. Now I like to say adverse experiences or toxic stress, right? So what happens is, so like I'm at my clinic right now. So when I leave, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna leave, and it's a road, right? You know, that I have to leave and get out on, and I have to look left, I have to look right, I have to look left again. Well, say a car nearly hits me, right? Well, I pull over and say, "Whoo, man, that was close." Cortisol is running all through my body, fight, flight, or freeze. I say, "Whoo, that was close, man. I'm so happy I made it." But within about a minute and between a minute and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, your body regulates and adjusts itself. And I'm able to continue to drive and go to my destination. But what happens with what you're talking about, it's like that car is nearly about to hit you every day, all throughout the day. And what
Fight or
happens
flight.
is you find yourself at home walking with family members or in the grocery store, and you walk past somebody and they say, "Ooh, you scared me."
Uh-huh.
I scared you. We're in the grocery store. Like, why would you be scared in the grocery store with hundreds
Yeah.
of people? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see you. You just caught me off guard. Where their body is so used to being tense and tight and being filled with cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and being overwhelmed all the time, that you really don't know how to be relaxed. You really don't know how to be present in the moment. And you're
Yeah.
self-aware, you're just self-aware about things that are negative and things that you shouldn't be focused on based on past experiences. But it goes back to what we was just talking about earlier. What are you telling yourself? Man, I know I got to go in this store, but I hate going in this store. Every time I go in this store, something bad happens. I'm so scared. Last time I went in here, A, B, and C, and D happened to me. And then guess what? Your brain has to ensure that that happens to you, or now you don't have that same thought process of when you walk in that store.
Mm.
And you are,
Mm.
and like we've talked about this several times, but
Yeah.
it's the man. Who's right? The man who thinks he can't, or the man that thinks he can? And they both are, because they both have embedded themselves with these thoughts that ensure that what you tell yourself consciously is going to be true unconsciously.
See, and that's what we always talk about: fight or flight, nervous system. Like you said, you keep telling yourself something is going to go wrong or something is not going to work out. Like Dr. Ford said, your brain literally has to make you out not to be a liar. Basically, for a better lack of terms, if you keep telling yourself something bad is going to happen, literally, like he said, your brain is going to increase your blood pressure. You're going to feel like you're almost getting hit by a car all day long. This is why I always do the comical fight or flight. Me and Dr. Ford always like there. There it is. He know me. This is what I tell my community, because this is what's really happening. What Dr. Ford is saying. This is comical, but I do this. Your body is really freaking out like this, really in real time. You just can't see it. It's in that fight or flight. It's scanning for threats and all that, because you think, "Whoo, I'm about to get hit by a car." Every 5 minutes, "Whoo, I'm about to get hit by a car." So talk about too.
Oh, hold on. Let me
Yeah.
add
Go
to
ahead.
that. But
Go ahead.
this is one of the things. This is why I really love and I appreciate working with athletes. I love working with athletes. I have a couple of athletes that are. I hear they're pretty good in sports. They happen to be my boys, but athletes, because one of the things about an athlete is, and I won't even talk about them. I'll just talk about some of the athletes that everybody knows. You look at the Tom Brady's, you look at the Joe Montanas, you look at the Deion Sanders, you look at the Michael Irvins. When they're in the stadium and with thousands of people there, they have the innate ability to remain calm when the people that's not even involved in the game are nervous and worried about the next play.
Think about
The
that.
best players in the game have the innate ability to be the calmest, physiologically, mentally, and spiritually in any moment in the game. You look at Tom Brady. I hadn't studied him in a while, but when he was with New England, with under 3 minutes to go in the game, he was 11-1 when he was down by 4 points or less in the game. 70,000 people in the crowd.
screaming, hollering.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
mindset,
So and
mindset.
the energy is transferable. So if you see your leader in there, calm, relaxed, ready to go, man, let's make this thing happen. Let's make this happen.
So listen, what Dr. Ford is telling you in 2026, you the leader of your own life in 2026. Make it happen.
Period.
Make it happen. Make it happen
Period.
this year. Change your thoughts, change your behaviors, change your beliefs. You hear him say beliefs, values. They should update as you get older, as you grow, right? What you believe in, your value, your life is in your hands. This is what Paul is basically telling the Roman church, right? Be ye transformed by the remodeling or renewing your thoughts, your nervous system, your core values, your core beliefs. So listen, we about to bring this home, man, because I know everybody, look, we could be on here all day long.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
about to
because I
bring
got
this
something I
home.
want to
So
add to
listen,
that. I got something I want to add to that. I'm not saying the crowd ain't gonna be there. I'm not saying life ain't gonna get heavy. I'm not saying it's gonna be all good days. I'm not saying you not gonna be worried. I'm not saying you're not gonna be motivated about getting up. I'm telling you, keep going, keep
keep
going.
going.
And the way you keep going is by what you telling yourself. On the best days that you ever have in your life, you have the best thoughts. On the worst days that you ever have in your life, you have the worst thoughts.
That's it.
Good
That's it.
people, let's start with our thoughts. To start with our thoughts, we have to understand and recognize what we're thinking on a daily basis in real time.
That's it.
If it's 10 o'clock right now, it does me no good to think about what I was thinking about at 8 o'clock.
Come on.
No, at
Come
10:06, I
on.
need
Come
to know
on.
and be aware what I was thinking about at 10:06 this morning.
That's it. That's
Go.
it. Controlling your thoughts, like he said. So we about to give you some practical tools and applications before we get out. He's already touched on some, but renewing the mind looks like this in 2026. Awareness. I wrote down awareness, right? Slowing down your reaction, right? Responding instead of reacting. I wrote down questioning old beliefs, old thought processes, right? So questioning old beliefs about your money, about your relationships, right? Right? Questioning old beliefs about your self-worth. I wrote down also in my notes, this is like Dr. Ford already touched on this. This is not an event, it's a process. Renewing the mind is not something you do one time and then it's over with. Like Dr. Ford was saying, oh, I changed my values, I changed my beliefs 5 to 10 years ago. Well, you might want to update them again because that highway might not be working in your mind. It might be a cutoff on the highway.
Not at
so,
all.
so give them some practical things that people can do. Like I said, awareness, slowing down so you can respond instead of react, questioning old beliefs, old patterns. Put that in clinical terms, what you would tell your patients, just some practical tools that they can do to start renewing their mind in 2026.
Man, I believe step one is about being self-aware, because you have to get in the stages of change and understand where they are in the change and how motivated they are for change and things like that. So I'm gonna keep it simple for the audience. I'm gonna say step one is becoming more aware of your self-awareness. Being having the ability to be more present in the moment. So what do I mean by that? Being more self-aware. When you find yourself with your heart rate increased or your blood pressure increased or just going through whatever physiological changes that you have, just be more present in the moment and be more aware of what you're actually thinking about. Because, and I'm gonna explain it to you like this, FL. So when a patient catches the flu or a cold, do they get better based on how soon they recognize the symptomology of the cold or a flu, or do they get better the longer they wait to do something about it?
They get better as soon as they become aware of it.
Yeah, that's called a plan. So soon as you become aware of it, you initiate a plan and you execute the plan. And soon as you execute the plan and you master the plan, that flu or that cold no longer scares you or trumps you. But it's only
Mm.
when you don't master the plan, or you don't create a plan that those same conditions and those same situations can continue to bother you, follow you, and upset you every day. So the first thing, let's keep it simple. Be more self-aware. Just be more self-aware. Be more present in the moment.
I like that. I like that self-awareness. You listen. See, listen, this is how I had to pull my nervous system out of fight or flight. Dr. Ford, no, man, look, we've been doing this work for over 20 years,
Man.
and we still do it. We started this 20 years ago
right.
together, and we still, like, better have your mind right, baby. And we still do it. Like he said, the awareness. Like he said, on my days where I feel, like he said, blood pressure up, fight or flight, pupils, I'm not having my best thoughts. So I have to stop myself in that moment in real time, like he's talking about self-awareness. FL, why are you thinking about that? What you thinking about? What you thinking about what happened 5 years ago for? And I feel myself rising up on the inside. You ever, so that's what he means by self-awareness. We all have to exercise self-awareness to change, because the first step to transformation is self-awareness. So,
man, I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead.
I know we got to get out of here. I'm gonna tell you a story. I know we got to get out of here, and I'll let you close. This is a story that happened to me many years ago in the emergency room. They called me over to the emergency room. I had a patient in a crisis, and it was at least 15 to 20 people in the room. It was a crisis. It was a very high level, intense situation. And I'm at the nurse's station, and I'm charting, I'm getting my notes and everything done. And they say, one of the nurses said, Dr. Ford, how were you able to be so calm in that situation? I said, well, it wasn't a big deal. And she said, no, it was a big deal. It was, did you not see what was going on in there? It was a huge deal. I say, it wasn't a big deal. And she said, no, it was a big deal. I said, well, you got to take that up with you. I'm telling you, you're asking me, and I'm telling you it wasn't a big deal. But the moral of that story is, I remember when I first started practicing and I first began, man, I was under so much, I'm just being honest and transparent, FL. Yeah. It was so much pressure and so much responsibility. I used to tell myself, I have stories before this, but after this, I used to tell myself over 500 times a day, it's not a big deal. 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 So when I walked into that room and I saw nothing but chaos, everybody yelling and screaming, waiting on me to get there to see what was going on, I had already conditioned myself and told myself it was not a big deal. I was able to remain calm. I was able to make the best clinical decisions. I was able to do what was best for the patient. I was able to talk to the family. I was able to present myself as this wasn't a big deal. And I remained calm. My blood pressure remained calm. My heart rate remained calm. My respiratory rate remained calm. My thoughts remained calm. And I handled the situation. But if I did the opposite and telling myself this is a big deal, then I got to respond like it's a big deal.
Did y'all hear what he just said? Did y'all hear what he just said? Listen, I can
attest. Man, I don't tell nobody these stories, man.
Listen, but I can attest to that. And Dr. Ford can attest to this when we played ball. And like he said, we finna get up out of here. So I'm finna piggyback on that. It's been many a times. You remember, hey, come on, we need this bucket. hey, it's going crazy. To the other side. Hey, it's going crazy in there. People talking. It's going, like he said, the clock running. Hey, who he look for? And what I tell him, straight dead in his face. I got you. Give me the ball, because I'm about to shot. Chaos. We're not going back down. So what he talking about? Because I conditioned myself to that. He knows this. Man, when I played college ball and played, I used to always tell myself, I'm the best player on the floor. I don't care if Michael Jordan was on the floor. Guess what? I conditioned myself to believe that. Dr. Ford can attest to this. I don't care if MJ himself was on the floor. When I got on that floor, I did not act like I was the best player. Man, did not move like I was the best player. Man. It's right here, good people. It's right here.
We're players in our everyday life. Sports are a great attribute to us, and they bring a lot out of you. But really, we have to look at that from an everyday perspective. Every day, every morning when we wake up and get out of the bed, we have to have that same mindset and same attitude. And this is the thing that I'm gonna be transparent with you. There's gonna be a lot of days where you don't feel like it. The good thing is it's not about your feelings.
That's it.
It's about what needs to happen and what you need to get done.
That's it. That's it. You got to be able to separate the emotion from what needs to get done. What he just said. You got to be able to take the emotion out. You got to be able to take the emotional trigger out. You got to be able to take the subconscious loops out and really hone in and focus on what needs to be done. So listen, man, we gonna close it with that, man, because we could talk all day. It's Sunday. Listen, I just want to remind y'all, starting next Sunday, I'm going live 21 straight days teaching my book. So you don't want to miss it. Be on the lookout for that link. I'm going to gift this to you. Free book. And we're going to go live 21 straight days. And then next month, Dr. Larry Ford, my good friend, is joining me every month from here on out, every first Sunday of the month. So next month, the first Sunday in February, we be back. And we're going to be talking about it again, how you can continuously hatch from those outdated beliefs and thought processes. So tell the people, man, where to find you at, Dr. Ford, man, so they can get with you.
Man, I'm at Hands to God, your behavioral health outpatient clinic, Southwest Oklahoma City, 44th and Western, 1016 Southwest 44th and Western. Support at H2, the numeric 2, GY.com. You can find me on Facebook, Hands to God. Instagram, I believe, is Dr. Larry Ford. I mean, I'm out there. Twitter, Hands to God. I'm out there, man. Website is www.h2gy.com. I treat all individuals throughout the lifespan, including athletes. I love treating athletes. Reach out to me if you want some help. Let us know what topics you want us to discuss. I'm here to be. I got back with FL. I just want to be more transparent. I just want to help more people in the community, including athletes, including people that are chronically ill, just whatever, behavioral health. I want our people to see us in a different light and to help as many people as I can, man. I'm getting a lot older, pretty fast. I've done a lot of things in life, and I just want to continue to make sure I give back and be out there.
Man, I love it. And that's why every first Sunday of every month, we're gonna be joining you, man, talking about it. You can email me at FL the life coach. Hey, there FL the life coach at gmail.com. That's FLTHA life coach at gmail.com. You already know where to find me. That's my username on all social media platforms. Email me your questions though. We want to answer your questions. Don't be afraid to drop questions in the comment or email us your questions, right? Because we will get back to you. If you take the time out to ask the question, we'll take the time out to answer it, right? Right. So yeah, man. So that's about it. So yeah, we about to close this out. You can join us every Sunday. I'm back here every Sunday, 9 a.m. Soul Truth Live. But he's going to be joining me every first Sunday. So, Dr. Ford, anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, I'm good, man. It was a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you again. Hey, I look forward to hearing from the people and seeing what they want us to talk about and discuss. Let's get to it, good people.
Let's get to it, man. Happy Sunday. Y'all enjoy y'all's day. Have a good day, good week, Dr. Ford.
All right, you too, brother.
All right.